Imagine a predator that haunted Ice Age America for over 5 million years, hunting in shadows. Its jaws could crush bone with 30% more force than any wolf alive today. It moved in coordinated packs, taking down prey that weighed literal tons with ruthless efficiency. Popular culture knows it as the dire wolf, a name that conjures images of mythical monsters. But the real animal was far more fascinating than any fantasy creature Hollywood ever imagined. These weren't oversized wolves or prehistoric nightmares. They were something entirely unique, a separate branch of evolution. For thousands of generations, they ruled the American continents as apex predators alongside saber-toothed cats. Then, in a geological instant, they vanished completely, leaving only bones and questions behind forever. This is the untold story of the dire wolf, the misunderstood hunter that time forgot. The misidentification. For decades, scientists believed they understood the dire wolf's place in the evolutionary tree completely. When paleontologists first discovered these fossils, they immediately classified them within the genus Canis. This grouping includes modern gray wolves, domestic dogs, coyotes, and jackals living across multiple continents. The classification seemed obvious. These ancient predators looked remarkably similar to contemporary wolves in almost every way. The skull structure, tooth arrangement, and overall skeletal proportions all screamed wolf to early researchers. But appearances can deceive even the most trained scientific eyes, and this case proved no exception. Advanced genetic analysis in recent years has revolutionized our understanding of dire wolf evolutionary relationships. DNA extracted from fossil bones revealed a shocking truth that nobody anticipated in the slightest. Dire wolves weren't close relatives of modern wolves at all, despite their superficial similarities and shared names. Instead, they represented an entirely separate lineage of canids that diverged approximately 5.7 million years ago. To put that timeline in perspective, dire wolves were as distantly related to gray wolves. This discovery forced scientists to completely reconsider everything they thought they knew about these animals. The phenomenon explaining their wolf-like appearance is called convergent evolution, a fascinating process in nature. When unrelated species occupy similar ecological roles in comparable environments, they often evolve similar traits. Dire wolves and true wolves coexisted across the Americas during the late Pleistocene epoch together. They hunted similar prey, faced identical environmental challenges, and competed for the same territories constantly. Natural selection pushed both lineages towards similar solutions to the same survival problems repeatedly over millennia. The result was two distinct species that looked remarkably alike but shared no recent common ancestor. It's like how sharks, dolphins, and ichthyosaurs all developed streamlined bodies and fins independently. Evolution repeatedly discovers the same successful designs when circumstances demand specific adaptations for survival and reproduction. Anatomy of power. Popular culture has inflated the dire wolf into something approaching mythological proportions in modern imagination. Films and television shows often portray them as massive, horse-sized monsters that dwarf any living wolf. The reality, while less fantastical, remains impressive enough to command respect from any reasonable observer. On average, dire wolves stood approximately 80 centimeters tall at the shoulder when on level ground. From nose to tail tip, they measured roughly 1.8 meters in total body length. Adult males typically weighed between 60 and 70 kilograms, translating to approximately 130 to 150 pounds. These dimensions made them comparable to the largest gray wolves alive today, not dramatically bigger. However, their build told a different story about how they lived and hunted successfully for millennia. Where modern wolves possess lean, athletic frames built for endurance, running over vast distances efficiently, dire wolves were stockier, Their bodies emphasized raw power and durability over speed and agility in pursuit hunting scenarios. Shorter legs provided a lower center of gravity, improving stability during violent struggles with dangerous prey. Broader shoulders accommodated massive muscle attachments, generating explosive bursts of force when wrestling prey to earth. Larger pelvic bones relative to body mass created a more robust posterior frame for powerful movements. This construction sacrificed marathon stamina for wrestling strength, a critical adaptation for their hunting strategy. They couldn't chase prey across endless plains for hours like modern wolves do regularly today, but they possessed the strength to grapple with animals many times their own weight successfully. The skull architecture revealed perhaps their most formidable weapon, one of the strongest bites ever recorded. Robust skull bones with thickened structures could generate and withstand extreme, crushing forces without fracturing. Broader cheekbones provided attachment points for massively powerful jaw muscles that modern wolves can't match. A wider palate distributed bite pressure more effectively across tooth surfaces during feeding and combat situations. Calculations suggest their overall bite force exceeded modern gray wolves by approximately 30% on average. Specialized teeth designed for specific purposes completed this killing toolkit with ruthless efficiency and precision. Shearing carnassials in the back of their mouths could slice through tough muscle like scissors. Robust canines gripped and held struggling prey while the pack coordinated their attack from angles. These anatomical features combined to create a predator perfectly engineered for Ice Age America's challenges. The Ice Age hunting grounds. The late Pleistocene epoch presented a world vastly different from anything we recognize today completely. Massive herbivores dominated the landscape. Megafauna that seem almost fantastical to modern sensibilities and expectations. Woolly mammoths towered 3 meters tall at the shoulder, weighing approximately 6 metric tons each. Their bodies bristled with thick fur coats and insulating fat layers several inches deep everywhere. Mastodons browsed forest edges while giant ground sloths lumbered through woodlands with surprising grace despite. Herds of enormous bison thundered across plains, their numbers stretching to horizons in every direction. Western camels, yes, camels in North America, grazed alongside horses and peccaries in diverse ecosystems. For predators, this abundance represented both opportunity and extreme danger in equal measure, constantly and unpredictably. A single mammoth carcass could feed an entire dire wolf pack for weeks during harsh winters. But bringing down such giants posed challenges that modern predators rarely face in contemporary environments. Male mammoths wielded curved tusks spanning several meters, capable of goring attackers with deadly efficiency. They moved in protective herds where vulnerable individuals stayed surrounded by defensive adults at all times. Their size alone made them nearly invulnerable to most predators, even coordinated packs attacking simultaneously. Dire wolves likely scavenged mammoth carcasses opportunistically when they found them available and accessible. Juvenile mammoths, separated from herds, might have tempted desperate packs during severe food shortages occasionally. But regularly hunting these behemoths remained beyond even the dire wolf's impressive capabilities and strength. Instead, they focused on more manageable prey that still offered substantial caloric rewards per successful hunt. Bison represented ideal targets, large enough to feed multiple wolves, vulnerable to pack tactics employed. These herbivores possessed formidable horns and powerful builds, but coordinated wolves could overcome them successfully. The hunting strategy required cooperation, timing, and the explosive power that dire wolves' anatomy provided. The pack mentality. Modern wolf packs provide our best window into understanding how dire wolves might have lived socially. Today's gray wolves form tight-knit family groups averaging 6 to 8 individuals under normal circumstances. Pack structure centers on a breeding pair, typically the parents, with their offspring filling remaining roles. This isn't a rigid hierarchy based on dominance fights, but rather a family unit operating. The breeding pair makes critical decisions about when to hunt, where to establish dens. During hunts, modern wolves demonstrate sophisticated coordination that human observers find genuinely impressive and almost strategic. They work together to scatter prey herds, isolating vulnerable individuals who can't keep pace. Once a target is separated, the pack surrounds it systematically, cutting off escape routes. Multiple wolves attack from different angles simultaneously, biting legs to cripple mobility and bring prey. The killing blow comes only after the victim is completely immobilized and unable to fight. Dire wolves almost certainly employed similar cooperative strategies based on their social nature and prey requirements. No one can observe them directly anymore, a frustrating limitation for researchers studying extinct species. But fossil evidence provides tantalizing clues about their social behavior and pack dynamics throughout existence. The sheer abundance of dire wolf remains at certain sites suggests they lived in groups. Solitary predators typically leave fewer fossils because their populations remain smaller and more dispersed geographically. The concentration of dire wolf bones at locations like Brea Tar Pits indicates social behavior. These predators likely formed dynamic packs where they hunted, fed, and rested together through seasons. Pack sizes probably varied based on prey availability, territory quality, and seasonal factors affecting survival. Like modern wolves, dire wolves were probably devoted parents who invested heavily in offspring survival rates. Mothers would have given birth in secure dens hidden within thickets, burrows, or rocky cave systems. These shelters protected vulnerable pups from harsh weather and rival predators during their earliest weeks. As pups grew stronger, they began exploring outside the den under watchful parental supervision constantly. Adolescent dire wolves likely shadowed adult pack members during hunts, learning techniques through observation and practice. They watched how experienced hunters position themselves, when to strike, how to avoid dangerous kicks. Eventually, young wolves gained confidence to participate in actual hunts, contributing to pack success gradually. This learning period prepared them for adult roles within the pack's social structure eventually. The competitor's arena. The Ice Age America has hosted an extraordinary diversity of large predators competing for limited resources. Dire wolves dominated certain niches, but they shared their hunting grounds with formidable rivals constantly. Gray wolves, true members of genus Canis, ranged across almost every ice-free region of North America. These competitors hunted similar prey species including elk, deer, and bison in overlapping territories. Direct competition between dire wolves and gray wolves was inevitable given their ecological similarities completely. Both species formed packs, both targeted hoofed herbivores, both required substantial territories to sustain themselves. How they coexisted remains partially mysterious, but likely involved subtle niche partitioning and behavioral differences. Perhaps they preferred slightly different prey sizes or hunting environments, reducing direct conflict somewhat. Beyond canid competitors, saber-toothed cats of genus Smilodon prowled the same landscapes, hunting megafauna. These massive felines specialized in ambush tactics, using their famous fangs to deliver precise killing blows. Dire wolves and Smilodon almost certainly encountered each other regularly at kill sites and water sources. The Brea Tar Pits preserved thousands of both species' remains, suggesting they frequented identical locations. Whether they fought over carcasses or maintained uneasy truces remains unknown, though conflicts seem inevitable. The giant short-faced bear, Arctidus, stood over 3 meters tall on hind legs, absolutely dwarfing wolves. Weighing approximately 650 kilograms, these enormous omnivores probably scavenged extensively using size to intimidate competitors. Modern grizzly bears regularly steal wolf kills through kleptoparasitism, and short-faced bears likely did the same. Dire wolf packs probably lost countless hard-won meals to these towering thieves throughout their existence. But perhaps the most dangerous competitor arrived on two legs between 25,000 and 15,000 years. Homo sapiens migrated across the Bering Land Bridge from Asia, bringing deadly weapons and intelligence. These humans lacked physical advantages, but compensated with spears, strategy, and unprecedented social coordination abilities. The collapse. Human arrival in the Americas initiated a cascade of ecological changes that would prove catastrophic. Our ancestors quickly became extraordinarily effective hunters, targeting the same megafauna that dire wolves depended. Bison, ground sloths, camels, and horses all faced intense hunting pressure from these clever apes. Human hunting alone didn't doom the megafauna, but it added critical stress to populations already vulnerable. Climate change delivered the final blow as the Pleistocene epoch ended approximately 11,700 years past. Warming temperatures transformed vast grasslands and open steppes into dense, temperate forests across many regions. Ice Age megafauna, adapted to open plains and cold conditions, struggled to compete in these ecosystems. Smaller, more agile grazers and browsers thrived where giants could not adapt quickly enough successfully. As herbivore populations crashed, predators faced starvation as their primary food sources vanished from landscapes. Dire wolves may have attempted to shift their hunting strategies towards smaller prey out of desperation. Perhaps they targeted deer, peccaries, or other medium-sized ungulates that remained relatively abundant still. But their anatomy, built for wrestling massive prey, poorly suited them for chasing nimble animals successfully. Their shorter legs couldn't sustain the long-distance pursuits necessary to catch swift, agile prey effectively. Other canids like gray wolves and coyotes possessed the body plans needed for this hunting. They adapted smoothly to the changing world, shifting prey preferences and hunting strategies as needed. Dire wolves, locked into their specialized anatomy, couldn't make the same transition successfully or quickly. Population numbers dwindled as starvation, competition, and environmental pressure mounted relentlessly from all directions simultaneously. The last dire wolves died approximately 9,500 years ago, marking the end of their lineage. An evolutionary experiment lasting over 5 million years concluded an extinction when flexibility mattered most. The fossil legacy. Today, dire wolf remains tell stories from tar pits, caves, and sediment layers across continents. The Brea Tar Pits alone have yielded thousands of remarkably preserved specimens for scientific study. These fossils reveal not just anatomy, but also lives filled with injury, hardship, and survival. Healed fractures on bones show these predators endured serious injuries but recovered with pack support. Tooth where patterns indicate they processed tough materials, possibly crushing bones to extract marrow during times. Every fossil adds another piece to the puzzle of how these magnificent predators lived millennia. Modern technology allows scientists to extract DNA, revealing genetic secrets locked in ancient bones for ages. These analyses confirm dire wolves' unique evolutionary position outside the genus Canis entirely and definitively. The dire wolf story reminds us that even perfect adaptation offers no guarantee against extinction. For millions of years, they were exquisitely suited to their world, apex predators commanding respect. Yet when circumstances shifted, their specializations became shackles preventing adaptation to new realities completely. Today, only bones and reconstructions preserve their memory, but what a memory it creates magnificently. They were not the monsters of legend, but something better, real predators that conquered a continent. Perhaps their greatest legacy isn't what they were, but what they teach us now. In nature's endless experiment, flexibility often triumphs over perfection when everything changes around you. For millions of years, dire wolves thrived as apex predators, perfectly adapted to their environment. Yet, even such perfection could not withstand the twin pressures of climate change and human arrival. Their extinction was not dramatic in a single moment, but a slow fading over centuries of environmental stress. Today, we reconstruct their lives from fragments, understanding their anatomy, their hunting strategies, and their place in ecosystems. Every fossil, every footprint, every tar-preserved bone tells a story of survival, struggle, and adaptation. The dire wolf may be gone, but its story endures, reminding us of the delicate balance of life and the relentless force of change.